Have you ever promoted an Instagram post? Well, if you've thought about it, considered it, wondered what the hell is a promoted post, I'm hopefully going to help answer that in this video. I'm going to give you my opinions on promoted posts, then walk you through some examples of how you could use them and talk about the process and actually show you the process of setting up a promotion, including what should your budget be, who should you target the promotion at, and all those kinds of things. So let's get started. What is a promoted post? It's just an ad, right? Inside of Instagram, every time you post to your business account, Instagram asks you, do you want to click a button to promote this post? And it's a big source of revenue for Instagram is small businesses who don't really know too much about Facebook and Instagram advertising. Hitting that promote button, that little boost, saying $5, $20, $30, and just letting Facebook run with it, do what they're going to do. They know that at the end of the day, we don't know how to compare the results of those campaigns. We're all pretty naive. We don't really know what's going on. We don't know, is 100 clicks good? Is 20 clicks good? Is 1,000 reach terrible? Who knows, right? We just get something in return for our money. And we're not even sure a lot of the time why we're doing it, or at least that's the experience when I talk to directors of architecture firms who have given in to temptation and click that promote button. It's just, I just threw $20 at it, a little bit of a gamble just to see what happens. And that's fine. And in a lot of ways, when you're getting started and dipping your toe in the water with Facebook and Instagram advertising, using the promoted post tool, I actually think is a pretty good beginner step into familiarizing yourself with some of the very basics of Facebook and other kinds of social media advertising. It's about picking an audience. It's about setting a budget. It's about thinking about which posts would be the best ones to promote, and doing all of that and getting to learn from that before diving headfirst into the whole Facebook ad platform with all of its options. It can seem very overwhelming. You generally have to build an ad from scratch, and going in there without some prior experience and some reps under your belt, it's really easy to make a lot of mistakes. So I'm a fan of the Instagram promotion tool for business people, for small businesses and architecture firms, because I think it's a good way to just familiarize yourself with the process and actually acclimatize you to spending $1 a day to help promote your firm to a target audience. That's great. It's all just brand awareness. We don't need to be metric crazy about what was our cost per click, what's our impression click-through rate, what's our kind of depth of visit. I'm now making up jargon, but we don't have to get super analytical about it. For a brand awareness campaign where you're just basically saying, look, I want people in my local area who are of this age bracket, who are interested in architecture, to see this post from my Instagram account that did well, in the hope that they'll either follow my Instagram account or visit my website or visit the project page to read more about the project. That's enough for me. That's all I'm looking for. If you have a fairly simple goal, then promoting a post is a really good thing to do. So let's just jump straight into it. What kind of posts would you choose to promote? So there's kind of be two categories here. The first that I would think about would be special occasion posts. Posts that are basically not geared towards the most engagement or the most reach, but they have a meaningful message and a call to action that you want to get out there. And I'll pick an example from Edition Office's website. Hawthorne House, shortlisted, which means that it's also in the People's Choice Award. If you'd like to show your support, then follow the link in our bio and vote for the project. Okay, so this is a post that I would look at and go, that's a very, very good candidate for a promoted post. Because as an Instagram post to their feed, Edition Office are only going to reach a very small percentage of this 7.8 thousand followers, and they're not going to reach anybody outside of their follower base, or hardly anybody in most cases. So their kind of cut through of this message and this message getting seen, even by people that follow them, is low probability. So it's a really good candidate for a promoted post. I would be aiming this at either your existing Instagram audience, which is an option when you a promoted post. It's labeled as people like your current Instagram audience, which in a lot of cases will include your current audience. Or you could go out more strategically and say, this is a post that I would like to target to people between the age of 20 and 50 in Melbourne who like architecture. Cool, you could do something like that. So that would be a good idea. The other one would be an announcement of a new project. So their For Our Country project, Memorial, you're just trying to build brand awareness around this project. So you might promote its picture, promote its story. This was not the most successful post in their feed. You can see in comparison to some of the other posts, it wasn't a hit. And it would not have been seen by that many people relative to the potential reach of this firm. So to get that message out there, it can be a good idea to promote a post like this. So you can take a sort of case by case specific, promotion strategy, or you could use a more general strategy, which is to, make promoting posts part of your routine, right? So what you might do is open your Instagram account, and the goal here is to identify which Instagram posts have done the best, which have been your highest performing posts of recent times, because they might be a good candidate for a promotion. So we do that by going to the menu, going to Insights. We're going to click See All on Posts, and then automatically it will rank your posts in the last year by reach. But let's just drill down a little bit further to, say, the last 30 days to find a recent post. So in my case, this post, a project by Sean Lockyer, look at its insights. It reached almost 28,000 people and unique people, and it had 34,000 impressions. Now, this post did well because Instagram's algorithm essentially decided to promote it. You can see that 85% of the people that this photo reached weren't following me. And if we look at this list, we can see that almost 80% of those impressions came from hashtags. So this was a bit of an algorithm darling, this post. It did really well, and Instagram decided to give it a lot of spread. So Instagram's ad algorithm is going to use the same sort of criteria to work out which posts it should charge a lot to promote and which it should do at a bargain. When it decides how much should an advertiser have to spend to get a post out there, if the post itself is likely to do well and drive a lot of engagement and a lot of profile visits and other things that Instagram looks for, then it will do well as an ad. It will not be an expensive ad to run, and you will get more bang for your buck. So you use your insights to identify, based on factors like reach, which ones Instagram prefers to show more of in the feed. And that will give you a really good idea for which posts may be good candidates for ads. So let's go through this process. So now we're at the post, and we've decided that we want to promote it. It reflects a popular post on our page, so we'll promote it. So where to send people? To your profile, to your website, or your direct messages? Now, if your only goal is to gain followers and just to get brand awareness, you're not looking to send people to your website, most of the time, we'll just choose our profile, right? Our first goal in this case is to get people engaging with the image, seeing the image. This would make more sense if it was one of my projects, if this was an account that had my own work on it and I want people to see a house that I've designed or a memorial that I've designed, then I don't really care what they do next, right? I just want them to see the project and see it for the first time and learn about it through my caption. But in this case, the secondary benefit is that we can take the most interested people and we can send them to our profile, we can send them to our website or direct messages. So a lot of the time, sending people to your website will be a little bit of a waste if you're just sending them to your homepage. Going to your homepage is not what that visitor was necessarily looking to do. Now, where I would use your website would be to link to a project page. So to do that, I would click on Edit, and I would paste in the URL of, editionoffice.com/memorial. And then where there would be more text, more images, a little description of the firm, Great, fantastic. And that would be a learn more button. And that would be a great way to get people to learn more about the project. But if it wasn't the kind of promotion where you were specifically looking to really intimately educate somebody about a specific project, but it was just a general, hey, strong image, good performing image, learn more about our firm. And the secondary benefit is that maybe we'll gain some followers as a return on our ad spend, then we'll just be sending people to our profile. So let's say we've picked that option. Now in this one, we don't want to do this is the step now where we're choosing our target audience, and we really don't want to use automatic targeting because so many of your followers will be from around the world. They'll be in different cities. They'll be aged 13 to 16. They'll be aged 80 to 92. They'll be outside the kind of cohorts. You'll have a broad spectrum of people following your Instagram account. But in terms of, which is great, that's no problem whatsoever. But in terms of spending money and getting return on your investment, it's usually best to aim for the people who have a higher likelihood of needing your services, a segment of the market that you're more interested in catering to. Now, for a lot of cases, that is simply just going to be about narrowing the age and geography. So we'll create this one and we'll call this demo audience. Now that we've gone to this step, location, we'll just say your current location plus 10 kilometers, okay? So we're around our office and the immediate area perhaps. Interests, there are very limited interests related to architecture, but we might just select architecture. We might also add, we'll just see what variations are offered that could be relevant. Landscape architecture, ARM architecture. If you're ARM, there's an entire advertising category on Facebook related to you, which is great. Vernacular architecture, architecture and engineering. There's a few options here. Now, if you have a project that has a strong cultural theme, like it's a tiny house or it's, extremely sustainable or energy efficient, then we might look at other types of interests. So sustainable living, sustainable development, sustainable products, sustainable energy, sustainable design, architecture, right? Or we might look at tiny house design, tiny house nation, tiny house blog, etc., etc. So you can start to think of what are some other interest groups that are actually going to be more specific to this project and its appeal than just architecture, because architecture is extremely broad. If I even visit ArcDaily on my computer, I will get put in Facebook's architecture advertising audience. But does it say that I really care about tiny houses? Not necessarily. You can even say, in this interest targeting. So, you can even look at cultural figures. Let's say that your project is incredibly minimalist. It's just absolutely raw. There's nothing in it. It's a house that's just so basically a tea house. Well, then we might look at somebody like Marie Kondo, as a cultural figure who people who are interested in Marie Kondo may be interested in this house, right? So there's a lot of strange examples that you can use, but that's why I think that promoting a post is such a good intro into Facebook advertising, because these are all of the interests that are available to more sophisticated advertisers. When I go on Facebook, this is as granular as it gets in terms of ads. You read a lot of stories in the newspaper about how spooky Facebook advertising is, but once you click promote and you start sorting through some of these interests, you'll essentially see the same things that BMW see or Coca-Cola see or Louis Vuitton see. They have the same options that you have. No amount of money or budget gets you more detailed options than this. So you get to use the most powerful ad platform in the world. But when you actually see behind the curtain, you'll realize it's actually kind of simple and sort of limited in some ways. So you've chosen your interest. Great. You've created your group. Next thing we'll do is we'll create a little bit of a narrowing on our audience. So maybe, let's think about which generation is buying houses here. Let's look at 35 to 50, male and female. And that's great. So we've created our audience, 190,000 people. I think that's a perfect number. It's probably a little big if we're only going to be spending a couple of dollars a day, but there's no such thing as really a too big audience. I mean, we can be a kind of mass appeal here with our campaign. We are aiming for brand awareness, and we have been quite selective in terms of our location and our age group. So what you could do would be, I would want to see, if you're only spending like $1 or $2 a day for 30 days, I would like to see this potential reach be somewhere more around 100,000 people. So what you may do is decide, well, okay, 35 to 50 was a bit broad, so let's just say 40 to 45, 46, 45. There we go. So now 65,000 people. If you're spending $1 a day, that's great. That might be your core audience, okay? So then we're able to create that audience, and we're able to select it, and we're able to launch our campaign using the post that we've selected. We finally get to this last step. What will our daily budget be? And you're not going to be spending $1,000 a day. You're going to be going right down to the very bare minimum in many cases, which will be $2 a day, it seems. And look, there's your estimated reach, but that is a very, very rough estimate. You have no idea. It will completely be based on how well the image or video that you're promoting performs. But look, there you go, $2 a day for 30 days. That's $60 as an experiment. Now, what I would do, and the reason that I'm an advocate for using Promoted Post Tool, even though every single marketer out there will say, don't waste your time using it, the reality is you're a beginner as an architect, you're a marketing beginner, and you need to wet your beak with this whole Facebook ad thing. And I think that the Promoted tool in Instagram is a really good way to do it. So what I would suggest would be do this as a process of spending $60 a month to not only reach several thousand people a month with your projects that you're targeting, but it's also and build followers and build website visitors and all those good things. You're doing all of that, but also in return for your investment, you're learning about how social media advertising works. So, that's going to be about you creating campaigns and then testing and looking at them and not going, we reached 6,000 people. Is that good or bad? The only way to answer that question is by experimenting with different types of campaigns, different types of targeting as you go, and just have a curious and sort of playful attitude with it. Maybe if I try a different age group, we can compare the two campaigns. So for example, you might run the same image and create two promotions from that image, one targeting 30 to 35 and the other one targeting 35 to 40. And you'll start to learn things based on the results. This one reached far more people for our same investment. You can start to learn about the different projects that you're promoting. You can say this project versus that project. What's the difference? What targeting differences are there? If I say architecture or I say sustainable architecture, which campaign performs better? And all of that stuff makes you sort of really competitive as you start to pick up on some of these things. It's going to be completely unique to your business and your projects. So, there's nobody that can come along and tell you what the better version of your targeting is. All they can do is go through the process of figuring it out. And you can go through that process as well and start to figure some of those things out while at the same time getting all those benefits in terms of reach and all of that kind of thing. So that's really the basics of promoting your posts on Instagram. It's a starting point. Do it for a little bit of time and learn more about it. And if you find that you're getting good results out of it, you're enjoying this targeted nature of the whole thing, you're enjoying the extra reach that you're not normally getting. Let's say, if you were, for example, Edition Office with 38,000 followers and in all likelihood reaching 200,000 people a month or more if regularly posting, if they posted on a daily basis, they would reach easily 500,000 people or more a month. Incredible amount of reach. Is there any justification for Edition Office to come along and start paying $60 a month in Instagram ads? Who knows? If they have a specific goal, and as it becomes clear that over time those 40,000 followers are going to be more and more inaccessible, then perhaps it's still good for them. But what I would say would be for the firm that has 130 followers but good work, or it has 60 followers and posted 10 times, and the alternative that's in front of you is to either invest that money in those ads or to wait 5 years to slowly build from 50 followers up to 500 followers up to 5,000 followers, and it may never even get there because Instagram has become such a mature late stage platform that growth and reaching people for free is asking a bit too much in 2019. So it's a really good option to allow you to kind of pay to win in a sense. You can basically pay to get your projects out there. And if those projects are good and your photos are strong and your content is good, then it will be a big benefit for your brand and for your firm. So that's where I'll leave it. Once you've passed that point where you've felt like you've really tested out the promotion tool and you're ready to move on to bigger and better and more complicated things, then head over to business.facebook.com and start learning about the real deal Facebook and Instagram ad platform, which is where you get to do all the crazy Ed Snowden stuff over there. So hopefully that video was informative. And if you've got any questions about Facebook ads, or more importantly, if you've got any strong opinions about why architects should or should not be using Facebook and Instagram ads, I'd love to hear them. Let me know in the comments. I'll speak to you soon.